Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 263 on December 1st, 2021. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hello, everybody.
Jimmy Trammell.
Hey, guys.
And Michael Aston.
Howdy, y'all.
How's everybody doing?
Not bad. It was actually a beautiful day today, I gotta say.
Good, like the fact that I can't be prepared at all. Get my camera set up before we start streaming.
Well, that's what happens when you're gone for a couple weeks.
True. I know the fact that when I've come back from a break and I feel all everything's just in the wrong spots and everything feels weird and it's not used to it, and having to get into this game and this mindset of trying to be on camera and kind of be performative and all that. It's really weird.
See, it's become extra easy for me because what you're seeing right now is also my office. So there's a very good chance that I've been sitting in this exact spot since like 8 a.m. this morning.
Well, we know you're not wearing pants, so
of course not.
I mean, the pre-show, guys, you must be very happy you don't see the pre-show because he comes into the room in order to sit down.
You're not supposed to tell him that.
Oh, sorry.
That's why we're not on Twitch anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's why. I was wondering what the reason was. Other than that, yeah, it's been a nice, things are doing well. Oddly beautiful weather, and I don't know, it seems pretty normal.
Speaking of that, it's December 1st.
It is.
It was 50 degrees today.
It was here too.
It's like, there is something very, very bad gonna happen.
Yeah, I wish it is so freaking hot here.
Well, normally, this is at least 20 to 30 degrees warmer than it's supposed to be this time of year.
Yeah.
And which just means it's going to get really bad really fast.
High for tomorrow is 81 here. I am
I'll trade you.
Uncomfortable in my shorts and t-shirt.
Good.
Wait a second, 81 and you're hot?
Yes. I'm actually pretty much always hot. Like, I like it to be about 63 degrees.
Oh, okay. I was going to say 81. Dude, that's fine. Just no problems.
I prefer the weather to be in the mid to upper 60s. That's comfortable. Anything above that.
That is good light jacket weather or a warmer shirt weather. That's good. I like that.
That's described by me as shorts and t-shirt weather.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I start thinking about putting on a long sleeve shirt when it gets below 50.
I have isolated 70 degrees as the point that a hoodie is required. Still wearing shorts,
okay.
But that is the point I have isolated with several times of, realizing, hey, I need to put on a hoodie. Look at the thermometer. It's exactly 70 degrees.
I have designated 68 degrees as the low end of comfortable. 67, I start feeling cold.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why. And I can take all the way up to 79 degrees before at 80, I start feeling uncomfortable at the other end. It's weird.
And also a lot of that has to do with humidity. Because if it's 78 here but it's humid, you feel like you're gonna die.
I'm sure that's like sticky.
But 70 degrees in Southern California with moisture in the air is cold. Pretty cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends. But,
Yeah, well,
all right.
should we talk news?
As long as it's about Android TV.
Okay, let's talk about Android TV.
Okay.
Android TV is officially out for the newest version, Android TV version 12. This one is not officially out to any platform yet, but at least the developers have announced it as essentially finished and done. So we'll start seeing it on various Android TV devices. And nowadays, most Android TV devices are pretty not too far off from using the base devices. So if the company's going to update it, you're going to have a good time. You're going to be able to. They're going to probably upgrade to Android 12 unless you're NVIDIA for some reason and don't like to update. Not a huge number of changes. Things like they actually have a native 4K user interface now. Basically, beforehand, apparently, if you had a 4K device, it was just an upscaled 1080p. Apparently, it's got some better support for things like privacy settings. Like it gives you indication if the microphone's being used, or the camera's being used. It's easier to be able to toggle those things on and off. It's got support for HDMI CEC 2.0. It's got a better protection with tuner services, so you will be able to have better control over that. API accesses behind the scenes, black background blur support, which I read somewhere that's actually one of the most distracting things that you can ever do on any type of voice call, and so it's not recommended. It's because it just makes people focus on that instead of what they're supposed to be. So go ahead, disrupt those meetings with your Android TV. That's fine.
But in a UI setting, it is good because it makes everything else pop. Because you're not just looking at a single person and you're not moving.
Okay.
See, and the background blur would be like when you're on the home screen and you're scrolling through the tiles. I mean, I've had the blur enabled on Windows for a decade now. And, on like your, the bars and stuff in the UI. And I like it because it gives you a little bit less contrast, or, what is that the right word I'm looking for? Yeah.
Definition, sharp edges.
Yeah. But I will say though, maybe asking why is it notable that Android 12 announcement is a big deal. It's because of the proximity of the release of the mobile version, which was only a month ago.
Not like a year.
Normally, like they have been getting quicker with the Android TV releases of this, but a month is awesome. That's right where we should be. It's still not get. I mean, it's gonna probably make it to the developer model initially, and then. This is what the Shield was waiting for. They said they weren't going to go to 11 because they were waiting for the next one. Because they just released 11, a couple months ago?
It feels like it. It does feel like
it was within the last 5 months. 11 was finally released to everything beyond the developer model. So yeah. Okay. Shield users rejoice.
We'll see if I get it.
Yeah, they already said you're not getting it.
Yeah, I know.
Because you have to buy the new round rolly one that looks like it'll roll away if you put it on a not level surface. I still don't get that design.
No, I've got no comment on that. I don't understand it either, but that's besides the point.
I think the thing that I would say is exciting about this is just the fact that we've been hearing a lot more about Android TV lately, been seeing it showing up on more devices as Android TV rather than, as a variation of Android TV being implemented under a different name, right?
Right.
And now Google seems to be showing that they're going to more regularly release updates and stuff. And, this is a good update because it's not huge and it has some really good improvements, which is actually a really good thing. It just indicates that they're going to be releasing probably on a better cadence with maybe some more modest improvements. So you'll be able to see continual improvement in your Android TV rather than just rarely seeing big steps forward.
Yeah.
And likely device manufacturers, hardware manufacturers will start to also release at a more consistent cadence. I don't see anywhere where they give a timeline of their future releases, but I suspect they probably share that with their developer community in some way. So
yeah. I will also add one of the features in the changelog that actually I am most excited about is under the privacy and security. They've added indicators and toggles for microphone and camera.
For Microsoft, now, you can toggle off Microsoft.
Microphone.
Nice. I guess by picking Android, you kind of do that.
Yeah, you kind of. But no. So now there's a clear indicator of if an app is accessing your microphone or camera. There will be an indicator on the screen to show that is currently happening, and also there's a way to turn it on and off.
Right.
Easily.
More options and optional options.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's awesome. Speaking of Android, Verizon, the company that's a technology company, right? They're a tech company. They're totally a tech company.
They're mobile phones.
Absolutely. No, they actually came out with a pair of new sound bars. These are based on Android TV as well, and they've got two models here. One is just called the Stream TV, and the other one's called the Stream TV Soundbar Pro. The soundbar, the Stream TV Soundbar, Soundbar Pro. The Stream TV is a $400 device that provides you with Bang & Olufsen speakers, a couple of those, two HDMI ports, so you can pass through various other devices through it. Connects to your TV and gives you 4K displays, and it's your typical to a sound bar. Very much like remember the JBL Link bar that was kind of like going to have an entire system built into the sound bar, which kind of makes sense if you want it to be a Google device you could talk to even though the TV's off, which is kind of like what I think. That was cool.
I mean,
it's one of the reasons
that's what Roku's been doing for a few years now.
Sort of.
I mean, they don't have the fully immersive OS that like a Android TV does, but still.
Well, if you want to upgrade to the Pro, you get yourself basically a bigger model. It comes with a lot more speakers, the same B&O tuned speakers by B&O, and that one will give you, I think, what is it, up to 9 of the speakers, so you'll have probably a virtual surround system coming out of that. Sounds really good for $1,000. So I'd have to hear it to believe it. Generally, I would just see the cheaper end and go, that's good enough for me. Even $400 sounds expensive if you ask me, but for some people, that's probably a really good deal for a good set of speakers. Yeah. I'm guessing. Running Android TV, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's only available through Verizon right now.
And they've got a very good reputation for speakers.
The Bang & Olufsen, yeah.
I'd say they're the most highly regarded speakers made by a company formerly running a railroad.
B&O. I mean, I think I don't disagree. They have a pretty good reputation. I feel like, to me, I've always kind of viewed them um, as the I don't know, maybe a more pretentious version of
Oh yeah,
your
they,
typical mid-range speaker, right? Like they're not like generally real audiophile grade, but they get pretty expensive, and the people that tend to choose them, at least that I've known, have been a certain.
they were the Apple speaker before Apple had speakers.
Okay, well, I
You pay
seriously,
for the name, not necessarily for the quality.
I seriously want to hear. Okay, obviously there's like really high end speakers, and then there's like, your super cheap speakers. But Bang and Olufsen makes sense. They're kind of that middle brand name. Another one I could think of like that would be like an Altic Lansing, maybe. Put that kind of
Altic Lansing is not nearly at this quality.
Okay. Is there anybody else you would put in that middle tier?
Harman Kardon.
Okay.
Bose typically.
Klipsch.
Klipsch can be.
Their upper end stuff.
Yeah.
Fits into the same tier.
Okay, so they have a lower end that is not, but you think their upper end stuff is.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
your typical Klipsch stuff isn't, but they do make an upper tier stuff that's in there.
Yeah. See,
even the higher end will make mid-grade stuff. I mean, Polk, will make they're more known for the upper end, but they make mid-tier stuff.
And a lot of those brands, though, are riding on their past reputations, because a lot of them have been purchased by other companies and have been, kind of relegated to the lower tier. But I think Polk is one of those that I think Polk is now owned by Kenwood. Okay, if I remember right. But
what about like a Yamaha? Would you consider them mid tier?
Yamaha, not well.
I mean, I'm guessing they probably span the range.
For speakers, I would say that they tend most of what you buy Yamaha is going to be at the
receivers. Well, you don't typically see Yamaha speakers.
That's what I mean.
You see Yamaha receivers, keyboards, guitars, motorcycles.
They make a lot of really great stuff, right? Like they make really great speaker or receivers. They make amazing pianos, right? Like they have things that they do really well, and then they have things that they do that are just like, well, we make a receiver, so why not throw in some speakers with it? And I don't even know if they make those speakers.
I don't think they do.
Generally pretty mediocre.
Okay.
I think a lot of times if you get a package, it comes with another brand of speakers anyway.
That may be what you usually see with the Yamaha.
I will say, like Yamaha, I'm a big fan of Yamaha. There's a Yamaha keyboard over there. There's a Yamaha receiver in my living room. There's a Yamaha motorcycle in my garage. If I had a grand piano, it would probably be a Yamaha.
Very cool. So it's interesting to think that this giant range of the very high end speakers and where they are, and your really crappy lower end speakers that guys out there, and this then putting an Olufsen just makes me go, oh yeah, there's this whole group of people in the middle that probably better than probably your best deal, really, if you're looking for good quality speakers, somewhere in there in the middle.
Like you probably wouldn't even recognize the names of the really high end stuff.
Probably not me. No,
I don't even recognize them because they're just like, I don't spend that kind of money on $3,000 or $4,000 minimum for a single speaker.
Right. I think Verizon. So in regards to this, I think Verizon's misstep was going with Bang & Olufsen.
Really?
Which on the surface sounds crazy because Bang & Olufsen has a good name. The problem is their name also brings along with it a price tag. And you're asking 4 times what you can get from like a Roku stream, like built in, for people to buy into a product that has been yet unproven. There is not a huge market for Verizon's version of skinned Android TV.
Yeah. So they need to get in
It's a
some other
hard
way.
sell. It's a
Yeah.
really hard sell at
has to be really good.
401,000. Yes. If
But
it was,
you know what? I don't know that I agree completely with that though, because if you look at the market, that's where the majority of stuff being released right now is falling. Vizio has a low cost option, but they have a $500 and $1,000 option. Sonos starts at 500.
Like
Klipsch,
Sony.
but
theirs are about
those the point is, this is to get people into the integrated Android TV, which is Verizon's, and that was my point, is that you might get something similar that doesn't have that for a similar price. The Verizon made the gamble that they're trying to get people into their platform, but they went the expensive route, where someone that's looking for a sound bar with Android TV built in, they're probably don't care if it's Verizon's or not, and they're probably going to want to go to probably end up in a different brand, because the Roku competitor that also has the wireless sub, and then you can add on the wireless surround speakers, is $199-ish. It gets up to $500-$600 when you add the sub and you add the wireless additional speakers. But
well, maybe they're doing one of those deals like, okay, if you sign a 2-year contract, you get this device for free.
Oh no.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah.
With when you look at usually when you're buying the integrated solution, you're not looking at the high-end stuff.
And I mean, if it was just a Bang & Olufsen soundbar, I wouldn't blink twice at the price.
Right.
It's the fact that Verizon is pushing this to get their streaming platform off the ground. That's where it feels weird. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a story here about Google TV, and it's basically a summary of the various integrations with the different streaming services that Google TV has. It's a list of everything that you can pick up, from Crunchyroll to Stars to the History channel, and connecting it with Sling TV and the DC Universe and Tubi TV, all the different streaming services it has available to it. So it looks like there's the list is large, and I cannot see anything that's really missing. Can anybody think of anything that's not there?
Yeah, I see one. Curiosity Stream's not there.
Really? I swear I have Curiosity Stream,
but
Huh.
So does Curiosity Stream have a dedicated app?
Yes, for Roku. Yes.
Okay.
And they do for Apple TV.
Okay. So I added this one not specifically for us to go through, so we're not going to bore everybody by reading through the list. Mainly, if anybody has any question of, is your favorite app integrated into the search and continue and recommendation engine of Google TV, go to the doc. There's a link to this article. Pretty much everything I watch is now integrated. But we got to point out that Netflix is not.
It's not. Well,
And
not
that is
integrated.
because Netflix
integrated.
forced them to remove it like a year ago. Netflix does not want to be, just like Netflix doesn't allow integration into the Apple TV continue watching thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They don't want to be part of that. They don't want to share metrics because that's something that they would have to give access to on their end that they don't want to share.
So basically, the thing that they don't want to do is like a deep link into it and kind of thing. So you can go and click on, oh, this movie's on Netflix within the outside interface. Click this button and get straight to that movie.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't want to share their data is the thing.
I'm willing to bet that they're going to eventually relax on this just for the deep link in kind of bit.
Mhm.
I'm willing to bet they're going to say, yes, we're going to let you go ahead and link and get a deep link into because it's here. It's a link in. It's just like a web browser. Don't see why they don't have to share anything out for that functionality at all.
Yep.
They just have to say this show is available. If you click here, we'll load it, and if you have a profile already set, you'll just get to watch it right away. And that would be enough for me. I'd be really happy about that. And I feel like this feature is been, since it's on everything else, if you're in your Apple TV or your Android TV or your Roku, then you see all these other things in their interfaces that it's so nice. You're missing out on Netflix essentially.
Yeah.
So
and
Netflix should let them get in and then hold them in and say, you're stuck here with us now until you hit that home button.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the feature that really makes Google TV on Android TV worthwhile. It's the integration that when you go in and you watch a show, you go back and you don't have to go into Netflix to watch the next episode. You can just find it, and it keeps track of, hey, you just watched these, and you just go through what should I watch next? And you go through and you click on it, find an episode. It knows what the next episode is. You click on it, it takes you directly into that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that if you don't want certain apps included in that, you can go into the settings and turn it off. So that, let's say I watch something on, let's pick something in here, Epix, on Epix Now. But I don't want it making suggestions for other Epic shows, and I don't really care to have it pop up in my continue watching because it's whenever I feel like it kind of thing. You just go into the app and the app list, and you just turn off the integration switch. I don't remember what they call it, and
suggestions
But yeah, there is a name for the switch. I don't remember what it's called, but you could just turn that off, and then that stuff won't show up in there. But you've still got the app installed that you can launch if you just want to go in. But and then also the live tab that is your traditional TV, what's on now on this channel, that now supports its Sling TV from the beginning, YouTube TV finally, and then Philo is the third one.
Oh, okay.
So,
Cool.
if you're a Philo subscriber or a YouTube TV subscriber, you can get the channel guide. It's
very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody should do this. Hulu Live, you're next.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you are. You're next. All right. Who's next here is actually, we're going to talk about Stadia. Stadia made an updates to their app, particular ones for their Android app. So for the Android mobile devices, there's basically some stuff that's showing up, the guys who dig into the APKs to figure out what they're doing. This one mostly has features that haven't been enabled yet. But they're features that I'm sure Clyde is desperately waiting for. In particular, search. That's right. Did you know on the web interface there has been a search button for a couple weeks now?
Search has been there
for a little while.
But it's the ability to filter that drives me crazy, because you can't search if you don't know what you're searching for. You have to at least have an idea of what you're trying to find in order to use search.
Yep. Well, they now have a filtering search built right into the list, so you can bring up a list of movies and filter down to what you're looking for, which is actually pretty cool. I did use that recently, it does work, but I was on the web version. I barely use the Android. Use it on Android. They've also enabled the ability for stream spectating. They're working on making it so you make it easy enough for people to spectate you while you're streaming. This is on the phone instead of on the web, so that feature is going to be being turned on soon. So
Yeah, because I
That's
think we
cool.
talked about a couple weeks ago that they had brought that to the web.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And then that was along with the ability to invite people to join your game, right? At the same time.
Right. I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And last but not least, there's a chat inside of it. I mean, I barely use the social features. I think you're my only friend on Stadia.
Oh, you're my only friend too.
Aw. But so you can chat in there, and now within the interface on the Android devices, like many other Android things, it will give you a pop-up for some suggested responses, which are always fun to use, especially when they don't make any sense.
That's been one thing that in the last year that I've been using Stadia that's been super frustrating for me is the fact that I could live stream to YouTube. There was the ability for people to watch, but there was no way for me to get any kind of information if they're like typing in the chat, unless you have the YouTube page open in another monitor.
Gotcha.
You can't see. So if they're adding something that like will pop up on screen for me, that would be great. Because there's nothing worse than playing a game and then having someone get mad at you because you're not responding to them because you didn't know they were typing. Yeah.
What? I'm playing a game. You can't be bothered. Especially when you get really into it.
Didn't know. I wasn't ignoring you. I just never got your messages.
All right. So Apple has been rumored for some time now that they're going to be coming out with a new VR headset. Actually, more likely a mixed reality headset, because VR is for plebes. Come on. So they've been talking about what it could be like. The guy who likes to look into the stuff is Ming-Chi Kuo is his name. He likes to find out all the juicy bits and let them out early into the public. Has been looking at what's been going on, and he believes that it's going to be a device that is standalone, so it doesn't need to be any kind of other device to be connected to, whether it be a phone like a or Mac 2. Much like the Quest 2. So, and also that it will be something that so because it'll be standalone, the kind of processor they're looking to put inside of it will be something similar to what's in current M1 and M1 Pro and M1 Max. So probably it'll be an M1 or the M2 if it comes out next year or something like that. But the rumors will be here. We will probably talk about it as it continues to be. As news develops about it, I'm sure we will be on top of all the different things that are going on. But is anybody excited about Apple entering the VR game?
Jimmy's been wanting a mixed reality, augmented reality.
It depends on the implementation, right? I mean, if it's true AR, right? You know, if I will be able to put on these glasses and the current implementation of these things. And we're going to be buying my daughter and son-in-law, you know, the current implementation, you know, the goggles that you strap onto your head, and it's got like 2 controllers, right? And that kind
Probably
of thing.
A Quest or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But I mean, you know, in the current implementation, you put on those goggles, and for the first couple of minutes, right, it's great, right? Because you can look around, you know, you can see this world that kind of opens up and all. And but then when you start playing the games, right, you know, it's, you know, the weight of that thing, and you know, it gets hot and kind of uncomfortable there in just a short amount of time. I can't really wear it that long, you know, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the most, I would say. And that's about it, right? You're about ready to pull it off after that, right? So that current implementation of this kind of thing, of course, now that's more VR than it is AR, right? But but if the implementation of it is where I can put on these glasses similar to my glasses that I'm wearing now, right? And I can spin up a virtual monitor off to the side of my regular monitor. that would be the implementation I would go for, right? But if it's just, you know, another one of these, okay, it's good for maybe some games, and it's going to, you know, and then after 20 or 30 minutes you're ready to pull it off. Yeah, I won't get excited about that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a little excited just because Apple, even if they don't necessarily get in and produce the best product in the industry, they almost always push others to improve.
That's true.
So, you know, you can expect to see if Apple gets a solid product out there, you expect that Oculus and the Vive are going to have to step up their game a little bit and come out with even better products. And the other thing Apple has a really good history of doing is getting quality content made for their products. Now, you know, people might argue about Apple TV. Jimmy seems to like it. But
Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I like it now. I didn't at the beginning. It was lacking, right? But currently, yeah, I'm turning around on that now. I'm starting to like it.
Yeah. So that could be another really big boon for the VR space. Is, you know, right now there's just not that much great content. You know, once you really, there's Beat Saber, right? Like that's all that there is that lasts more than a couple of days of fiddling on it. Every game or experience I've tried on my Rift, I got pretty bored with fairly quickly, aside from Beat Saber.
Yeah.
That's still a blast. It's a lot of fun. There's not enough music. So
you can load in other songs. You can.
Oh, yeah, but you got to do all the work.
You just need to be part of communities that are putting all your favorite metal songs out there.
Yeah, that's effort though. And my point though is exactly that kind of thing, right? Like Apple's good at having that stuff covered. So if Apple got into the Beat Saber space, I expect Apple would bring in a lot of new music that was exclusive to Apple, which then eventually might make its way out to other industries or other sets. So anyways, I just think it's going to help improve the products that are out there and the content available. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that much is true. I mean, yeah, Apple is good. I mean, they're good at these new M1 chips that they've got out, and the M2s or the M3s, and you know whatever's going to go into this device. They're really doing a good job there. Apple's written a lot of good software over the years. They own the whole thing. They do the hardware, the software, the whole banana, so to speak. So they're good at that part of it. But it's going to be, for me, still, I say it depends on that decision line of, are they just going to do a little bit better than the current implementation and implement that? If that's the case, that may not be enough to sway me. But if I can get, like say, if I can put on those glasses and they're comfortable to wear, and I could spin up a virtual monitor next to my current monitor here and be able to do stuff there in that virtual monitor, or maybe let's say I can spin one up over here and have an app running in that virtual monitor, spin up maybe a second monitor over on the other side and have something else going on there while yet I'm still working on my main machine here. If they could bring that kind of integration in, with these glasses, yeah, I'm all in on that, right? But if it's just, okay, you're just going to play games and it's a little bit better than the current implementation, yeah, it wouldn't thrill me all that much.
What if it allows you to operate heavy machinery from your home?
Now we're talking.
You have to think about that. Become a crane operator in your spare time.
So the problem here is Apple. So a VR and AR solution the primary use of it, unfortunately, for Apple at least, is gaming. It's really, I mean, sure, you can do it to do other things with it, but I'm sorry. The reason why you want to get into a virtual reality space is so you can do things you can't do in the real world, which means you want to do something that's probably fun, and it's a game. So
Can't do anything fun.
Because when you're farming in Farmville, you really want to be farming. The whole reason I don't do it is because I don't get to bend over and actually pull those carrots out of the ground.
Oh,
I don't get to drive the tractor. Wait, is there a tractor in farm? I don't know.
I never played the game, so I don't know. But no, but you can do all those things, but you get to do them in an accelerated and labor-free fashion. So suddenly it does become fun because you can do this thing. There's a virtual reality game where you're a shop clerk and people are coming in and things. It's a PC building simulator. Come on, guys.
We've already seen, Facebook announced the metaverse a couple weeks ago, and we've already seen examples of Zuckerberg appearing and trying to force people to accept barbecue sauce, and if you refuse, he sends someone to murder you. What's going to happen when Apple does theirs? How are we going to find out?
No, they'll just tell you that you're not allowed to use it anymore. You're holding it wrong and all that kind of stuff. It just,
right.
It'll stop working.
Tim Cook will pop on the screen and tell you that the graphics issues, they're not their fault. You're looking at it wrong.
You're looking at it wrong.
Exactly. So no, it's that's Apple's way is not to be murderous like Zuckerberg. I don't know why that's their thing, but no, they are totally into their MO of bad behavior is these kind of highfalutin elitist things. So it's totally no. Obviously, that's not what you're not doing it right, kind of thing. But at the same time, Apple is not a gaming company. I know they have all their games on iOS but none of those games are theirs. They have a platform. People have made games for the platform. So this is going to be a thing that people are going to make things for it. So Apple, what are they going to do? They're going to have some productivity apps. Okay, let's see what we can think up of our heads of what a productivity
calendar, email.
Okay, so obviously, you're going to have VR time or whatever they're going to call it, FaceTime in VR, right? So you're going to be able to have that conversation with somebody else in a virtual environment. Great. So that's one that makes sense. Actually, it kind of does make sense. What else could we want? What's the killer app here, guys? That's not a game.
The Apple Store. You get to actually walk into a store and look at the apps on the wall
and buy and see the virtual version of the things you can buy physically, right?
Yep.
Oh, look at this iPhone 14. You could go to a physical store and buy it if you want. Or look at it virtually.
You can get a VR demo. Feel like you're actually using it.
So again, what is the killer app?
I don't know.
I don't know either. So other than
I know exactly what it would be, but it is against the Apple Store terms of service. And we all know where I'm going. The thing, and I'm pretty sure that it is the thing that is the most popular on all VR headsets that allow you to sideload, because the app is typically against store terms.
The same thing that
made DVDs
that made
and VHS. Yep,
King.
exactly.
Yeah, okay, all right, I got you.
Okay, so that's my quick question. What is the
Could be. I mean, to me, the killer app would be able to spin up a virtual monitor. I mean, that would be the killer app for me.
That's fair, but I just save the $1,000 and buy the $150 monitor.
All I want is the thing I've been asking for years, is the ability to watch a large screen TV when I'm on an airplane.
That's fair.
Well, what if you could watch something like that while you're driving down the road?
No, that means I'd have to be in a self-driving car, and I refuse to give up control.
Oh, no, I
You'll
mean,
take
it
my.
would-
They'll have to take my steering wheel from my cold dead hands.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the implementation. I mean, Apple's got the hardware, they've got the software to do a real good implementation. The one thing I'll say too, and maybe this can be the final thing, late 2022 for something that's really going to wow us, that seems like it might be a little bit early, right? I expect for what I'm expecting, like a virtual monitor, I don't know as if they would have that ready by this time next year, right? And I'm thinking that might be 2023, 2024.
I'm pretty sure that they've been working on it for a while.
For years.
Yeah.
Years.
I would not be surprised if they have something
that calendar app is going to be
by
amazing.
quarter 2. Or at least in time for Christmas next year.
Maybe so. You might be right. I mean, it depends on how far along the development is.
Yeah. All right. Well, I heard that HBO made a bit of a faux pas.
Oh no, come on, it's not a faux pas. Obviously, when you go to HBO Max and you want to watch Birds of Prey, that movie that's all about the great...
Actually, that movie was fun.
I have not seen
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I hear it was good, but I've not seen it. But it's what is the name of the character? It's a hilarious name too. What's her name?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. It's a great name. Anyways, the Batman villain, Harley Quinn, and her entire escapades of what happens in that movie. It's not a family friendly movie. Just so you know, it's got lots of swear words, lots of bad things happen.
That's the whole thing about Harley Quinn.
It's the Harley Quinn is that. It's just turned up to 11. And so if you got on HBO Max and said, hey, let's watch that movie, I liked it when I did. Oh, I haven't seen it yet. This will be fun. We know where we're getting. You're getting the version that's been edited for TNT.
Which is like when you cut out all the vulgarity, the movie is like 30 minutes long.
And has commercial breaks. No.
And with commercial breaks.
I don't think so. Well, maybe it does. But anyways... But it has all the substitute swears in there, so yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon, and things like that.
So it's like getting a VHS tape and cutting out all the scenes that made VHS tapes king. Right?
Yep.
Something kind of like that. I don't think there was much of that in that movie, but yes, it was very. This was a mistake. HBO acknowledged the mistake. It was there for basically, I think, a week, and they have since fixed it. But I think this was hilarious enough to make it to our news stories.
Yeah, we don't typically talk about content unless it's something like this. I think that's funny. At first I thought, how did it take a week for anybody to notice? But then I remembered this movie came out 2 years ago.
Oh.
I doubt people are clamoring to watch it at this point. It's not like it's a new release and you've got thousands of people trying to watch it right now. So I could see it taking a few days before.
Also, it is the holiday. It's very possible that people just weren't available to make the change.
There's that, and there's also, if I notice something wrong, I'm gonna yell and complain about it to you guys. I don't really have a pipeline to HBO to make them fix it. There's the other thing. So you'd have to have a lot of people. I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot of people tweeting about it. And that's what got HBO's, got their attention, outrage on social media.
Cool. So if you are a Apple user, you have the most recent update, which I believe is 15.1, you have a feature called SharePlay, which allows you to essentially share a stream of some kind with anybody else that can watch it on a FaceTime call. So you could share a video or share a streaming of some kind. Twitch has integrated themselves right into SharePlay. You can now, with your friends, watch Twitch, which is fine, I guess. But Just use Discord. That's what I say.
Hmm.
This is the new feature of Share Play. It's that they've been talking about it being a new feature for the newest version of the iPhone and iOS and the iPad OS. Allows you to share streams of certain content with up to 31 of your friends in a giant Facebook feed of the show that you're watching. So I don't know.
This is one way to allow people to see your thing when they're not Apple users.
No. And a similar thing, Xbox is, well, not exactly similar. Xbox is setting it up so you can share gameplay clips of their of what's on their system, the Xbox. You can you have had the ability to share to get links and get like little clips of your awesome gameplay and put it in the game. What's new is that they now are allowing you to share those links via public links. So you don't have to have an account in order to see this. So you can share that awesome headshot or how you pulled off the win in the racing game at the last second to all your friends on the internet, Xbox Live accounts or no.
All right. Cool.
This one intrigues me. What's this?
I put this in there specifically for you.
What's this? Chrome OS devices are being, there's a development for Steam, the gaming platform, to be supported on Chrome OS. Steam, of course, being one of the most popular gaming distributions out there, and famously coming out with a Linux version of Steam OS and Steam, the Steam system, and the Steam console, even they're coming out with the Steam Deck. Is now going to be apparently available for your Chrome device, which means natively you'd be able to launch Steam, possibly download and play a native game on Chrome OS.
So here's the thing that is the most important about this. You know, people port stuff to Chrome OS or to Linux all the time. This is an official Steam for Chromebooks. So this isn't like somebody just figured out a way to get it to work using BlueStacks or whatever right. The Windows to Chrome thing is.
Right.
This is actually Valve saying, okay, there's enough, acknowledging there's enough users on Chrome OS that it was worth their time to develop a legitimate, officially supported application. Which is huge.
Yeah, you know, the games that are on Steam, a lot of them are not going to run well on your Chromebook, just so you know.
And going back to my point last week, I think this is going to demonstrate how amazing Stadia is, because you don't need the horsepower.
It's true.
And why all these games that are on Steam need to be on Stadia as well.
I have thoughts about that I think would be awesome, but we'll save that for maybe after show.
Yep.
Okay. Here's an interesting story. Your Alexa devices that are able to, talk back and forth, you can now enable them to be listening for additional things, not like they're already listening anyways. So let it be useful. You can have your Alexa device to listen for things that it shouldn't possibly necessarily be going on in a certain room, like running water. So somebody left the bathtub running, or a beeping appliance. So somebody left the fridge door open, kind of thing.
Wait, your fridge beeps when the door is open?
My fridge beeps at me after a while. If the door
really?
is open, yes. Yeah.
Huh. I've never heard of that. Okay. Carry on.
Which is actually really great because
pretty standard.
My son leaves the door open often. I say, close the door.
Go open your fridge and
make him pay for all the new food a couple times, and
yeah.
it won't happen anymore.
The problem will go away. I know. It's a quick fix.
Yeah.
The monetary pain.
How old is your son again?
15.
So if he's like a typical 15-year-old, make him pay means you pull money out of your wallet, give it to him so he can give it back. Right?
Well, no, I mean, you can find a way that it's money that's his.
He earns his money, just so
Yeah.
you know. He has chores for money. But yes, that would be my own money that I gave him that I take back. I agree. But no, this is actually kind of cool because you can, like, my laundry machines do a little beeping. They're LGs. They will singing songs to me when they're done. So the Lex B would be able to hear that and be able to inform you if you're somewhere else in the house that your laundry is done. You can go get it now. This is again me talking about how this is the kind of stuff I do wish is available for all the different platforms. I really love to hear that Alexby, the guys at Amazon and the Alexby guys are working so hard at making this work. So yeah, I think this is cool. I want to see and hear more of it. I can't wait for other platforms to go for this.
As people are coming out with ways to defeat the always listening thing, they had to come out with reasons why. No, it's really important that we listen to everything that's happening in your house. Because how else are we going to tell you that your kid left the fridge open or that there's water someplace?
Yeah, it's interesting. My Alexa device told me just the other day, I can warn you if there's inclement weather in your area. Would you like to be notified for that? Right? Yeah, that kind of thing.
Say no, thank you. I have a window.
Well, and we do use that on ours. It can do. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do with it now. It's very versatile. It'll listen to glass breaking, like a glass break sensor, or if you mark yourself not at home, it can listen for the sound of people in the house and let you know. So you basically have an alarm without an alarm. I mean, here's the reality. If you have Echo devices all over your home, get over the fact that something's listening to you all the time, or get rid of them. Like there's no point in having them if you're paranoid, and you should be paranoid because they are always listening. And if that bothers you, then get rid of them. Because
if you are paranoid, and Nokia still sells a bar phone.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they just announced that they re-released their old bar phone because people like it so much.
Because my dad's been going crazy because he was forced to go to a touch. He could barely see. That's like the cruelest thing they ever did was make my dad go to a smartphone. Yeah,
I mean, that's actually there's obviously good reasons for people to have non-smartphones.
It's just that the money, the sales, they're not buying enough to justify the continued okay.
And I do believe that is the stories of the week, everybody.
Awesome. Well, that brings us to the point in the show where we like to say thank you to the people that matter to us. I know everybody says everybody matters, but that's not true.
I don't matter.
Down deep, every parent has a favorite. Every employer has employees that they just wish wouldn't show up.
But
you know what? We also have favorites, and they are called patrons. They are the people that support us financially every month. Actually, today is one of those days where you put up or shut up, and as far as I know, everybody, nobody bailed on us. So you guys are awesome. Thank you. You are the reason that we continue to do this every week, tirelessly. If you would like to become one of the people that we actually care about more than just normal gratitude, you can head on over to patreon.com/thebod-squad. Become a member for as little as $1 a month. That's it.
Awesome.
Obviously, awesome. Your state's gonna get their cut, and but that's not our fault. Okay, should we head into some rants and some rapes?
I think we should.
Oh, sure.
Rants, raves. What's new?
I want to say that we talked a lot last week about Stadia,
Mhm.
and and just the talk of it made and the big deals they had.
Mhm.
And I did want to say that I ended up getting a game last week with the Stadia deal. So the game, since I am a Stadia Pro member, they give me discounts on actual games.
Mhm.
You discussed last week that the game that you wanted to buy to get that deal
Mhm.
was Immortals: Phoenix Rising.
Yeah.
But it was $1 less
It
than
was
what the deal would allow.
too little.
You'd have to be $29.99 or more of a game for you to get the deal where you buy the game, you get a free Stadia controller and a free Roku Ultra, so you can play on your big screen TV in 4K.
Wait, Roku Ultra?
No, you're sorry.
I was like, holy crap, that's an awesome deal.
Never mind. The cheap one. No, not the expensive one.
No, the Chromecast Ultra.
Yeah.
Wrong OS.
But as I discussed last week, I'm considering doing it because some of those games are really big, awesome looking games, and it's the thing I might do. I talked to you last week about maybe picking up Red Dead Redemption 2, but once I looked through it, the list, I came across the game you were interested in, Phoenix or Immortals: Phoenix Rising, and the version that they had for sale there was because I had the Stadia Pro license. I'm paying Stadia Pro. It was greatly reduced. The gold edition, which apparently has a lot of the different.
It's like
add-ons.
$100.
And they had it for sale for $31.99. So it did work.
That's almost worth me paying $10 to sign up for 1 month to get that.
I know. Anyways, that was a really good deal, so I bought it, and I just yesterday got the notice that, hey, here's how you redeem the code to get the free hardware. I redeemed my code. It says it should be here either this Friday or next Monday. So I'm going to be playing with it this next week so I'm on my big screen TV on my new controller. So I'm excited about that. But in the meantime,
I really like that controller.
It does look good. In the meantime, I have this guy. And I did pull out my my Android, my NVIDIA Shield, and I updated it, and it is capable of playing the Stadia on it. So, and I got my Xbox 360 controller wired; it works just fine. And so I'm going to play it on this guy in the meantime, which is going to be great, or on my PC. I'm actually thinking of streaming it some online because why not? And yeah, so I'm excited because this game looks right up my alley, kind of family-friendly level of game, and third person action adventure puzzle game kind of thing. This looks great.
And
so
all of the background kind of narration and exposition is hilarious. That was my favorite part about the game.
Cool. Other than that, I do have over there, you might be able to see it, my OG Xbox. I finally pulled it out, finally found the adapter for it to plug into the TV, plugged it in, turned it on, plugged in and played Halo for the first time ever because I've never played it. It's a good game, gotta say. But mine has the Xbox Media Center soft hack on it, and I went ahead and went in there and I decided to check what the temperature of the processor and the graphics card is. And they are 100 and plus temperature, just turning it on and leaving it on for a few minutes, not even playing a game.
That's why you never look at that.
So, no. So that means I now need to turn it off, tear it apart, and repair the insides. And I intend to replace that fan because that fan is loud, and to one way or another remove and maybe just put new thermal compound on those heat sinks on there, or possibly find a better solution for cooling that system. I'm also considering removing the 10 gig hard drive and swapping it out with an SSD of some kind or a CF card. CF cards are IDE essentially. So
I was gonna say
the Xbox when it's soft modded, can only have 8 gigs of RAM of hard drive space. Doesn't matter how big you make it, 8 gigs max. So a CF card is perfect.
Well, no. It depends on the mod you're doing, because when you're soft modded, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I was running a 500 gig hard drive in mine at the end when I stopped modding and moved on. But
yep. So I might hard mod it. Who knows? I don't know. I need to research more about what I want to do about it. This is a very early edition of this. I looked at the date on the bottom.
And that's better.
Yeah.
And the earlier the better.
Right.
Because the later ones, they started trying to
make it hard,
prevent it because they found out about mods.
And they found out it was too easy, apparently.
Yeah, the one, if you open it up, you look at the motherboard, there is a row of pin that is not populated. If they're filled with, or if they are not filled with solder, that is the model you want. Because then you can get the solderless thing and it sits down in there nice because there's nothing in there. But when it's filled in, then you got to work and jiggle it. And then the later one requires jumpers that I don't like. I don't usually recommend that one because that means soldering to your
Hey,
different parts of your
Microsoft,
board.
did you know the mod scene is actually a very small percentage of the people who buy your stuff? And if they don't have to fight you, they actually promote your software, hardware, and software. Yes, there might be some of them that
the only reason I ever bought an Xbox was because I found out about modding and I wanted to get in there and see what it was all about. And then I bought an Xbox. I spent lots of hours playing it legitimately. Yes, having games backed up severely made a big impact in the limit of the load times. So it's not like it was stealing games, but being able to play my games quicker was even better.
That's one of the things I'm thinking of, getting a more modern Blu-ray, DVD player in it, because
we'll talk about
I'll look into all of that. I'm going to look into all that and see what I can do. So we'll see. That's it for me. I've been playing video games, which is awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I know. I don't get to do that often. It's great.
All right, Jimmy.
What you got?
Yeah. So WandaVision. I finally got around to watching that show. And I got to say, especially the first 3 or 4 episodes.
I bet you really liked those.
No.
What?
I did not. I hated the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Wow.
And, I almost didn't even want to continue on, right? But I remember, I think it was one of you guys or somebody saying that, you have to get through the first few episodes. It did start to get better, right? As I got past those first maybe 4 episodes, and then it started getting pretty decent, like the last 2 or 3 episodes, right? But I gotta say, how many was it? Was it like 9 episodes, I think, in that series, something like that? And I think that whole show could have been done like in 2 or 3 episodes, right? They could have just condensed it down in 2 or 3 episodes and been done with the whole thing. It was a little drawn out, right? And I kind of, when you get to the last episode, you kind of get it, right? It kind of explains itself, thank God for that, it did. But yeah, I just didn't like, I mean, once you get to the end, you kind of understand, you kind of get it, but I don't know, man. It's just not what I expected from, a typical Marvel series like that, right?
The first 3 episodes were so nostalgia based. They were so, it's Dick Van Dyke's show. Oh, it's, the Bewitched. Oh, it's just, it's so let's just have fun playing with this mixed metaphor of old and new. And
But in a heavy-handed way, it sounds like.
oh yeah,
Okay.
have you not seen it?
I have not watched it. I have no
Okay.
interest in that show.
It's heavy-handed in that the fact that it's so just more Marvel. It is more Marvel. Everything it is, and it's one larger storyline. And if you haven't seen it, I won't say much more than that. Other than, yeah, but the first few episodes are just let's just have fun in this universe, in this weird, wacky world that you have no idea how this is possible. And then episode 4 basically goes, oh, yeah, if you thought about it at all, yeah, what you thought was happening was actually happening, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, they definitely make it, meld into the Infinity Wars movie, right? And that kind of thing, right? And I get all that, right? But it's just the way they did, I don't know. It just wasn't. They spent too much on the Dick Van Dyke stuff, is what I felt like. If they'd spent less time on that, right, and more on the other, right, then it would have been better for me.
they actually hired Dick Van Dyke for the first episode. He's not in the show at all. They just hired him
consultant
as a consultant to make sure it was the right, they felt and looked and the humor was right for what the show would have been like. So,
I see.
which is awesome, if you ask me, because that's exactly what they were trying to do, and I feel like they succeeded. Although the show is so much more than that, obviously. So
I mean, if they make a second season of that, I think the second season probably will be better, now that they got this one out of the way. But yeah, I just, the last 2 or 3 episodes did kind of save it, in my opinion. But and if it hadn't have gotten better, say in that 4th or 5th episode, I would have given up on it, right? And it got better just enough to keep. It's like, okay, well, I'm like halfway through this thing, so I might as well finish it out, right?
Okay.
And that's kind of what I felt like. I will give a quick mention. The new show, Hawkeye. I've not watched. I know there's 2 episodes out there. I've not watched either yet, but I did watch the trailer. That looks pretty good. I'm looking forward to watching that one. That may be my next watch there.
I would say it's safe to skip Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon Soldier.
Oh, I saw that one already.
Oh, you did?
I did see that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that I like that one better than the WandaVision.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Mike, let me ask you, Wide Open Throttle?
Yep. Wide Open Throttle. It's the new Fast and Furious franchise.
Nice.
Oh.
Are you in it?
No, I'm not. It's a little bit of throwback. It's got Pee Wee Herman and
Wow.
I have no idea. I'm just making things up. Saying most of.
I was like, wait, you had me at Pee Wee Herman
awesome.
and like Cars.
Pee Wee Herman. I saw Pee Wee Herman in something recently.
Was it the new Pee Wee's?
I was going to say he did redo the
Pee Wee's new car, Pee Wee's new hot rod.
A while ago.
Was Pee Wee starring in a remake of or a reboot of My Mother the Car?
There was something he was in. Paul, what's his name?
Paul Rubens. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
I thought WOT stood for World of Tanks, the game.
Not that either.
Was it? Does it stand for Waste of Time?
Close. No. It stands for Wheel of Time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
The book series by Robert Jordan. You can see it spanning 2 shelves right behind my head and over. It's my personal favorite series, book series. It's a fantasy series, about 14 million pages or something like that. 10 million pages or something. I'm saying that wrong. It's like 14 million words is 14,000 pages.
So
Something like that.
before you tell us what you think, I have to ask you, is the Amazon show good? Okay, that tells me, because I tried watching it when it first dropped. I have no knowledge of the franchise or the world or anything. I tried watching it. I couldn't watch it. I tried again, and I think I maybe got 15 minutes into it, and I was curious, is it just me that it's not for me, or did they not do it right?
No, I mean, it may be not for you.
Because I
don't know
typically end
about
up liking
15
those shows.
15 minutes is not a lot of
Or maybe
time.
it might have been like 20 or 30 minutes. But
what I would say is, so each episode gets progressively better in my opinion. The first episode was pretty mediocre, I think. The second episode was okay. The third episode left me feeling like this show might end up actually being decent.
Okay.
The fourth episode, I actually was like, okay, I think my thoughts in episode 3 were correct. Like, this show might actually end up being decent.
Okay.
There is so much change from the books, and a tremendous amount of it is unnecessary. People make arguments about why they were good choices. I think a lot of people are trying to love the show. And I'm not saying I hate it. I'm still very in between as to whether or not I'm going to like it or not. It is very different from the series. There's a lot of departure from, in my opinion, some of the characterization of the characters. I think the acting does a good job and captures the characters well. The effects are very good. I think really the only really big failing to me is the script writing so far. The first episode to me felt like a bit of a hot mess. It was
felt
way
painful.
too much information. They tried to cram so much information into the first episode and moved way too fast. It was running at a full sprint the whole way through. And I don't necessarily mean that it was like action packed and stuff the whole way through. I just mean that like they were trying to get from point A to point B in the series, and that they targeted way too much. That should have been probably all 3 episodes should have been just what happened in episode 1, in order for them to make it a pace where people that don't really know the books could actually appreciate the characters in any meaningful way. They just crammed so much in so fast. And I don't think, I would ask you, but you've already obviously given me the answer. I'd love to hear other people see it, give it a shot and see what you think. But to me, I feel like a stranger to the series is going to be totally lost.
See, and that's usually my saving grace is the fact that I don't have the preconceived notions or the established relationship with the source material, whether it was The Witcher, that show Shadow and Bone that I told you about, The Irregulars, Game of Thrones, these are all fantasy things within this kind of genre that I have rather enjoyed. And I didn't go in as an existing fan. And usually I'm able to just be okay because I don't know if stuff's wrong and I can enjoy it. This one, I wanted to ask you because I'm not like against watching it, but I found it so difficult to get through that first episode that I didn't even get through. It was a matter of, is it good enough for me to try and force my way? Because, I mean, there are shows like Parks and Rec that I hated the first season. But once I got to season 2, it became one of the greatest shows in the world. And I absolutely loved it. But I just don't know. Is it worth my time going back?
It's at this point, and you're right on track. Like at this point, I wouldn't be able to make a recommendation to anybody one way or the other. I would say, as a fan of the series, I am so invested in the series. There's no way I won't watch this unless it becomes like physically painful to watch.
This to me felt, I feel the same way I felt when I tried to watch that sort of Shannara show.
Right. Well, that was horrible.
I'm just saying it
didn't get better. I only got through 2 episodes.
And that's why I wanted to ask, because I forced my way through a lot of that show before I finally gave up. And I don't want to have to do that again.
Yeah. No, I would say, maybe give it a year and then circle back, and I'll tell you next season what I think, or maybe after 5 or 6 episodes, I can give you a better assessment.
Okay.
I think that what I feel like is, like I said, that they tried to cram too much and they moved at a pace that was unacceptable. That the frustrating thing is that I honestly think that they did what they did because they thought it would be better for attracting new people. So a lot of the changes, I think they specifically said, well, the Wheel of Time is a little too clean, a little too nice. Let's make it a little bit more Game of Thronesy, and then people will like it more. And I don't know that I believe that. I think that I've heard a lot of excuses all over the place from the fan community, and I'm just not totally sure. We will see. I hope that they can pull things together and that it gets better. Like I said, I feel like it's on the right trend. The first episode was just a hot mess, in my opinion, though.
Okay. All right.
And is this on Amazon Prime?
Yep.
Yeah. Episode 4 is out. Episode 5 comes out on Friday. I look forward to watching that. Like I said, I didn't dislike episode 3 or 4. I disliked episode 1, and episode 2 was not great.
Okay.
So
you know what was great right from the very beginning?
What?
Shadow and Bone.
Shadow and
That's
Bone.
the one that I think you'd never had time to watch it. But it sounds like you might have time now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I think you'll really like it. It was, and then also The Irregulars, which is on HBO Max, which is like a Victorian kind of alternate history. Somewhat
Do I still
reminded
have
me.
access to HBO Max?
Yeah, you should.
Okay. What is it again?
The Irregulars. Oh yeah, Carnival Row should be coming back soon. I know Jimmy liked that one. These are all shows in that similar kind of genre that I actually rather enjoyed.
Yeah.
Oh, and the what was the one? The Golden Compass one. But yeah,
one is the Golden Compass.
It's in that. It's from those books. I don't remember the name of the actual show. It's not Golden Compass, but I'm actually looking forward to that final season.
His Dark Materials.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
I've actually enjoyed that one too. But thing I've been watching, and I finally caught up, Jimmy. I am now completely caught up on Yellowstone. It took me several weeks. I kind of like it. I kind of don't. The writing on that show gets very heavy-handed. You can tell the writer's bias
Yeah.
very clearly. And I mean, it's stuff that makes absolutely no sense. Like they keep referring to this guy that, is this rich white guy, but they've made it very clear is he's not rich. He has a lot of land that he inherited, and he's every year like one bad year away from losing it all. That is not a rich man. Everything he makes goes into running that place. But, he's that evil Republican. He doesn't deserve to have anything. But I mean, for the most part, I enjoy the show. There have been some really bad writing choices.
I think the acting's pretty good.
Oh, the acting's great. I like everybody.
And you're right. The writing sometimes gets a little over the top, right? But
if I have to hear "No man deserves to own all that property" one more time, because it always follows up with that person deciding that they deserve to own it. And it's just like, it is literally, because when I first started watching it, I was thinking, they're trying to make like Cowboy Sons of Anarchy. And then I found out the guy that made the show was on Sons of Anarchy, and it went, oh, okay. It's written, kind of the same way that you're, as like Breaking Bad, where you're supposed to root for the bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. He's only a bad guy in the sense of the political bias in the writing. But I mean, he hasn't ever done anything. But yeah, for the most part, other than the heavy-handed writing.
There's no clear cut. In that story, there's no clear cut bad guy. There's no clear cut good guy.
No, and a lot, but I have problem with a lot of the things they point to aren't actually bad guy things. But
right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next episode now that I'm stuck waiting till next week.
Yeah, I like how Kevin Costner he keeps pulling it off, and I'm not all the way done yet. I'm in the third season.
Oh, okay.
But I've not watched the last few episodes.
I am now up to date with this week's or last week's episode. No, it's this week's episode. Yeah, I think it airs on Monday. So yeah,
and my wife's gotten sidetracked on. She won't let me watch it without her, right? And she's gotten sidetracked with a couple of projects there, so I'm having to wait on her.
There have been a few storylines that you kind of go, okay, but for the most part, it's been fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, every show has that.
Yeah,
right?
Never mind the fact that they're in Montana, but it's clearly Utah.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the good things about the show. The scenery in a lot of this.
Oh yeah, I love Utah.
Is really breathtaking.
Utah is one of my favorite places. So that was kind of it. It does scratch that same itch that I had. Fill that hole that was missing when Longmire ended, and that was the whole reason that I started watching it in the first place and recommended it to you because I know you enjoyed Longmire. Similar character,
it is.
Similar areas. I mean, Longmire took place in Wyoming, but was shot in New Mexico, but like northern New Mexico. So similar, yeah. Alrighty. Well, I think that brings us to the end. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us again this week. This is the first of the last episodes of the year. I know we've only got like 3 more episodes this year.
It's nuts, man.
I know. But
I've already started thinking about the fact that I'm going to start writing 2022 on things.
Good. But yeah, join us every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central here on YouTube. If you would like the audio version instead, you can get it anywhere where audio podcasts are available. Whether or not it's out in an expedient matter, I can't say. If you would like it faster, if you're not happy with the speed that it makes it out to the public, become a patron. You will get it almost immediately. Within, I can almost guarantee within 12 hours of the end of this show. Although we can offer a lifetime guarantee. We can guarantee that you will live your entire lifetime. I had to pull that back up.
I love that one.
Yeah. Other than that, thanks. You want to reach out to us? Send us a note on Patreon. You can hit us up on Twitter at the VOD Squad, thevodsquad@gmail.com. You want to reach out to us? The comments right at the below this video. We'll do our best to respond as soon as possible. Don't be surprised if it takes a little while because we're not used to getting them. So, not always looking every day.
I am.
You might be.
I actually have it forwarded to my normal mailbox.
Okay, cool.
So I see everything.
Word.
Everything.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody. We will catch you all next week and head on over to the post show. Bye.
Farewell.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
So good.
So
good.
we've
What did I
got-
say about the beginning of the show about bloviating?
Mm.
I mean,
What
we,
I
we
do.
hit our 1 hour, 30 minutes, which is pretty average. So we've got a couple things on the docket for the post-show discussion. Before we get into that, head on over to tbs.showbot.tv to vote on titles.
Yes, we've got the following titles we can pick for. And it's not too late if you want to submit something in. But so far, we have Matt's having performance issues.
Okay.
No Pants Wednesday.
I'm
Every
all about
Wednesday.
that.
What are you talking about? Toggle Microsoft off, please.
Uh-huh.
Marry Yamaha-naka.
It's Yamaha-naka. I think.
Yamaha-naka. Okay.
Good. And that
Yamaha-naka.
was a Mike Beam. Dude, M-Beam's out there.
I know.
Awesome.
It's a good one.
I missed him.
Bang a Yamaha. I think you're my only friend. Clyde calls iCalendar VR, and I think you were so right that it's going to be one of the things that they're going to talk about. And when they do, I'm going to say Clyde was right.
We'll just add it to the
call it.
list.
WOT, waste of time. And also, what was the other one I said in the chat that was in there?
There was one I put in there.
Way off topic.
Matt's having performance
yeah.
issue was Mike.
Another
And
one that I put in didn't show up.
Oh,
Which
what
one?
was it?
I put real world is not equal to fun because Matt said something about, but that's okay because there's better ones on there.
and Wheel of Time spins out of control. So
Yes,
Yeah, I was looking forward because I know you've spoken very, very highly of the Wheel of Time franchise.
yeah.
So I was looking forward to it because, we're kind of in a period where I'm running out of stuff to watch.
and it's one of
then
those really long book series that you're never going to read
No.
because
Exactly.
so
And I don't
the
have to. I
show,
don't
if it's
care.
any good, will be a good story.
Exactly.
So great.
And that was the thing is I was very confused because the first time I sat down to watch it, I was like, okay, I can get through this exposition, and then I fell asleep. So then I remembered a couple days later, I never finished that. So I went back, I made it through that and a little bit further, but then I was just like, and I turned it off. And I said, I'll come back to this at some point, and I haven't.
Yeah.
And that's why I wasn't sure, is it just me, or am I just not the right person to watch it, or is it just not a great show yet?
The first episode's pretty rough, I think. I have not heard anybody that I felt was being honest with themselves that loved it.
Okay.
I
mean,
I've heard
now, don't get
people
me
make
wrong.
arguments of why it wasn't bad, but it sounds like they're doing exactly that. They're trying to justify why it wasn't bad.
I mean, and there have been plenty of shows that I have enjoyed only for the reason that I had to, because I love the property and I want to support the thing that I love, even if it's not good.
Yeah.
I get that. I just wasn't sure, and I didn't want to be like, this is a terrible show. It just, maybe it was a good show, and it just, because there are great shows out there I don't like because they're not for me. And I wasn't sure where this fell.
I think it'll get better. Like I said, I feel like it's already getting better. I'm still, as somebody that is so invested in the series, I am constantly annoyed about the things that they are changing about it, because most of the changes just honestly really don't make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
They're not, in most cases, they're not meaningful. They don't like change the meaning of the show. And, even the things that I find really horrible that they did don't change the show beyond the episode or, a couple episodes in. But
that was the way I felt about the Perry Mason reimagining last year. It's like a prequel. The changes that they made to establish characters made absolutely no sense because they served no purpose. And there was one change that completely undermines the importance of that character, because the change they chose to make, I understand why they did it. But for the character, it just completely ruins that character. But
yeah. And I think, those are the things that make me really annoyed and really upset about their choices. But like I said, even a couple episodes in, I'm seeing that those decisions aren't making that much of a negative difference. Like really, like they made everybody older, right? Like the series starts with the characters at about 16 years old. They moved them all up into about 20, and they made changes. Like one of the kids, like the guys, because he's not a kid anymore, right? He's not 16, is married at the beginning of the series. And so like that, I was not okay with that. Like I found that very, very frustrating, and I did not like how that worked out. But now we're 4 episodes in, and you're already seeing that while you still see tendrils of that, it has melded into the way the character was already for different reasons. It's just trying to make it more blatant, like the reasoning. And I think that kind of they're doing things like that because Robert Jordan does a lot of like internal monologue. You see the character's thoughts a lot. And so it's hard for you to understand why this particular character thinks and acts the way he does if you don't see those internal thoughts. And so they took that something that would cause that thought to be blatantly obvious, and shoved it into the beginning of the episode. So I understand some of it. I kind of understand now that I look back. Others, but mostly just the first episode's a hot mess. That's all. Okay. Really, we'll see. I think it'll be pretty good once you get into it.
I'm glad that you came back so that I can ask you about that.
Yeah. We should stop because I'll just literally talk for 6 years.
So I had a question. For Jimmy. Have you already purchased the Quest 2?
Not yet. Me and my wife are going to go buy that together.
So you missed last week. check Best Buy, because Best Buy had a Black Friday sale on the Quest, and they were giving a $50 gift card with purchase. So that effectively is, a $50 discount.
I was up in Georgia visiting my mom where there is no Best Buy.
Well, no, online. They have the internet in Georgia, right?
No, depends on what
that's
part
a
of
show
Georgia
title.
you're in.
It got there 6 months ago.
Oh, okay. I would, if you haven't purchased it already, check Black Friday to see if check Best Buy to see if their Black Friday sale is still going.
There were a lot that did the exact same deal.
But did they have the $50 gift card though?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. That was the only deal you could get on the Oculus Rift. So like Newegg did it, or the Quest 2. I mean, Newegg did it.
Yeah.
I think Amazon did it. I'm not 100%. Best Buy did it. And I'm pretty sure there's a couple others. I mean, I wasn't really looking for one, so I didn't pay a lot of attention, but I saw it from at least 3 or 4. Might be able to find one that still has it. Maybe Newegg still has it.
Yeah. I just figured I'd put that out there. It's worth checking to see if the sales are still happening, because a lot of places they are.
I think I was looking at Best Buy earlier today, and I didn't look specifically for that, but it looked like they still had their Black Friday sales on.
Yeah, a lot of them still have the Black Friday ran into Cyber Monday, and Cyber Monday ran into Cyber Week.
And last week we talked about there was that 70-inch Samsung 4K deal for I think it was $600. And
something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was an in-store only. It turned out to be an online.
What?
And I had to I put it in my cart like 3
4K?
times.
Did he jump to 4K?
No, I didn't.
It took him 4 times to say no.
See,
apparently.
it's hard for me to spend that much money in one go. If it's like 150 or less, yeah, I pull the trigger with.
I find that hard to believe looking at your background there. But
none of those cost me more than $500. Many of them are worth more than 500, but they didn't cost. That's why I'm a big fan of used, because I can buy stuff very cheap and then resell it for the same I paid or more. But yeah,
he got the back of the white band discount on a lot of them.
So that green Carvin, that cost me $550, but technically I didn't pay for it because I spent a year working at my buddy's guitar store in exchange for guitars. So rather than him paying me on payroll, we just figured out what my salary was, and I worked hours until I paid off a thing that I wanted to take home.
Telling kids not to play Stairway to Heaven.
Like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. There is a sign on the wall that says no Stairway to Heaven.
I mean,
you got the reference. I like that.
Is that a Marshall behind you?
No. That is a PV head and a Carvin 4x12. I've had that Carvin 4x12 for
your arm is right across it, so all it looked like was L at the end. Yeah, I see it now.
Yep. But all right. So did anybody get my Zuckerberg barbecue murder reference?
Nope, I
did not.
Just look up Zuckerberg barbecue. Somebody put together a meta demo that Mark Zuckerberg basically tries to offer you barbecue sauce, and if you do not accept, he murders you. And it was pretty funny.
It's on Gizmodo apparently.
Yeah, it's not worth playing right now, but it's out there. It's not
Sweet
good.
Baby Ray's, man. Sweet Baby Ray's. It's decent. Decent
and then pathway. You said you had thoughts on Chrome Steam.
In particular, okay, so Chromebooks are awesome, but they're not awesome for everything.
No.
Chromebooks are awesome because they're dirt cheap.
Mhm.
Chromebooks are awesome because because
It's a Windows alternative.
well, no, Chromebooks are awesome because I can hand these out to kids,
Mhm.
and the kids can literally break them over their knee and say, oops. And I can pull out older Chromebooks and get parts that happen to work with the newer models. Like the screens are like almost all the exact same model of screen.
Unless you get the Pixel.
I have 6-year-old Chromebooks that are on my shelf that I'm like, okay, maybe this year they're finally no longer supported. Maybe we'll get rid of them next year. And now I'm considering gutting every single one for just their screens so I can replace screens on the Chromebook, on broken Chromebooks, because if they're compatible with everything, it's great. Now, so that's great. That being said, there's a whole nother series of people who are into Chromebooks that are all about, this is the wave of the future.
Yeah.
I actually like Chromebooks for people if they're really, I don't want to have to think about my computer. I just want to use a browser. Perfect computer. Grandma computer. Great. This is the wonderful. Here you go. Worst thing you could do is you could destroy it and then you're out 150, 200, 250 bucks. No big deal. But then you have the people like the Pixelbook that have the $600, the $900, the $1,000 Chromebooks. Those don't make sense to me, because why are you spending that kind of money on a thing? Spending $300 on a nicer one that's got a bigger screen, or it's like a nicer finish, not the plastic, for school, let's destroy it finish. That fine, great. Spending $300 on it, that still kind of makes sense for me. Now with Steam OS coming to it, if it becomes a real thing, and if it is able to play anything that would be working on Linux essentially, and possibly anything that could run on Windows, with Proton, suddenly those start making more sense. Suddenly that's something that you can go ahead and buy one in order to play games on, and still have essentially a device you cannot make not work, without, you can power wash it to return it right back to normal. It's a 3-finger salute and the machine reformats itself back to a working machine, and then you can still play games on it. Those aren't the 3 fingers, but okay. Well, they can be, I guess. That works. He's making the diamond symbol, aren't you?
No, I was just saying 2, and I didn't want to do 3 because you can't. I can't do Control Alt Delete with one hand. The buttons are too far.
I can do the Control Alt Delete with one hand.
Be careful how you do that. Right?
It's like,
in some countries that's pretty bad, right? When you do like that.
That's true. That's not appropriate. Hey, I think I saw the shocker there.
Shocking.
Anyways, so this could be big for Chromebooks, and that's cool because I'm all for alternatives to Windows, quite frankly. And so I'm suddenly makes sense to have a gaming Chromebook. Could be a weird future.
And I mean, for our conversation last week about Stadia, I completely forgot about Chromebooks at all. If I had remembered, I think Chromebook is the OS platform that makes my case for online streaming of games makes video cards obsolete.
That's true.
And the Chrome OS, you can play AAA games on your laptop that has nothing but a browser. And for a long time, I've wanted to love Chrome OS, because on the surface, I tell myself for my laptop, all I care about is the browser. Because for the most part, that's why I buy old business laptops, is because I don't really care about the performance as long as I can use a browser. But invariably, there always ends up being something I need to load that I can't. And so I keep having to go back to a Windows laptop. But no, I'm cool to see more companies support Chromebook natively. And that was where my excitement for the official Steam
everything
was.
everywhere, guys. I just want to
Absolutely.
get us off of these. You have to use one platform. That's the past way of thinking about it. The future is everything everywhere.
Dan just heard us say that Chromebooks are gaming laptops. You've got an issue you're gonna have to deal with.
Well, I am a school administrator, which means the first thing I'm going to do is block Steam from getting installed on Chrome devices.
Can you block Stadia?
Yes, actually, I can.
And have
Stadia,
you?
well, happily, Stadia is always coming from stadia.google.com. So
Yeah, but that's what he's saying. Have you?
yes, it's
okay.
it's
You
blocked.
already have. All right.
So yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Well, that was everything on the agenda. Anything else? Where are we at with the titles? Looks like
good
Mary Yamaha-naka is
I think that's the one,
running
dude.
away with it.
I like that.
Yeah. See, Mike, we've missed you. He's back for one episode and just runs away with it.
Yep.
But yeah, I'll be interested to hear what you think about that game.
Oh yeah.
I rather enjoyed it, the demo. So.
Oh, and Paul Rubens, what I saw him in recently was Blacklist.
Oh, okay. That must have been an older episode, or is that show still going?
It is still going.
Oh, I thought they wrapped it up a couple of years ago.
Well, they wrapped it. Well, I think last year's season just got released on Netflix, which is where I watched it.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't know if they came out with a sequel series like the Blacker List or the Blackest List or.
No. I think this is I'm in the last season of it now. But,
it's the list that wasn't quite as deadly, but it's the Blackish list. It's like some sort of crossover.
But he was in several episodes of the Blacklist, actually.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna make like a pass-through website. That's what I should do. Just like a pure iframe website or like server frame website, so that kids can just go to this website and play games from Stadia or whatever.
On your Chrome.
Yeah, it's called.
But you have to sign in with a school email. So then you also build your target email list.
That's right.
Yeah, if a kid is savvy enough to know how to use VPN, they can get past that.
Hey,
of course.
Ooh, and
It's called an iframe.
If you cater specifically to students, you can get an EDU. EDU domain, which will be pretty much probably allowed by default on most school networks. Yeah.
So anyways, I'm just saying, like, I can just change the domain every time Matt blocks it.
Yep. Yeah, it's any of that cat and mouse game, which is fun. No, actually, because you'd if it's a VPN, there's nothing I can do about it except for I can block all known VPNs.
Well, I was gonna say you would just block all VPNs, right?
Right.
Do you do that, or do you
leave
little back doors for the kids because
nope,
you're not.
Here's the thing: known VPNs, that's easy to block. If your kid puts a VPN on their home device, then they know the IP address of their home device. Yeah. What are you going to do about it? And then you have to start doing real inspection of packets, and VPNs don't look like anything, so you have to start port blocking of everything you don't need to get through, and then you start making things that people expect to work not work. So for me, if it's like this, if it's a school district owned device, that means it's like a Chromebook. I can disable a lot of add-ons, and so you can't even install a lot of those things on your device, and I can disable the ability for you to use the built-in VPN features if I want to. And I do have almost all those disabled for students. But
yeah, if they set up something like WireGuard or something like that on their PC at home, right?
Right. So
and then
they
install the other side of it on that Chromebook. Then
right, but I can block add-ons as a school admin. So I have literally only whitelisted specific add-ons for students.
Yeah, but if they're savvy enough to get that installed before you block that.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because it's basically just running in the browser, and if you don't have administrator access to make changes to the browser, which
I was going to say you whitelist the add-ons they're allowed to use. They can't install anything other than that.
That is the but for the school district devices, it's fairly locked down. And if it's a not school district device, I actually don't care. It's their device. If they get past what the content filter is letting get past, if they're doing something inappropriate in a classroom, hey, you're doing something inappropriate in the classroom. Don't do that. Don't stop doing it. You're still doing it. Now you're in trouble.
Yeah, it's not so much an issue of doing things on the network as it is doing things on the school-owned hardware.
Right. Because we're in trouble if we allow it, kind of thing.
And the problem is when it comes to networks, you have to be very careful about whether or not you block stuff.
Right.
Because if you block anything, if there's something bad that they do and you didn't block it, that becomes your problem. That's why most places choose not to block anything.
Right.
Because as long as you don't block anything, then the responsibility is on the user.
Yeah. So as a school district, I am, in order to receive E-rate funding, which is laughable because, I mean, it's a good amount of money, but it's a pain in the ass to get because of the hoops you have to sit through. We are required to comply with SIPA laws, and the SIPA laws require that I block pornography and inappropriate material. Which is super generic. What is inappropriate? So so my content filter has categories. They've basically categorized the entire web, and I can then add things to also block or allow through the categories, and explicitly allow or block. And obviously, the pornography one is checked because that's required. And then I also so I have tiers based on whether you're a staff member or a student, or you're being your own device user. If you're on the school district,
or if your name is Matt.
If your name is Matt Ross, and you happen to be the admin, you have the abilities to do all kinds of cool things. But I'm still block porn, so because I'm required to. So
I wonder if using something like headless browsers, like that kind of general technology, could allow you to run the actual browser on the server and feed that through.
So still passing traffic through the firewall. It will still take advantage of what it's trying to do, but I don't think. But as far as gaming goes, I you know what? There are web games that are allowed through. I just don't block because sometimes teachers allow that as a way for to get away from doing whatever.
Oregon Trail is allowed.
I don't know.
Manhunt 2 is not.
What?
Manhunt 2 is not.
Manhunt 2.
I don't know why. There's just as much violence in Oregon Trail.
I mean, nobody ever died of dysentery or was eaten by wolves in Manhunt 2.
Or a bear, or maybe, I don't know.
I mean, Red Dead Redemption is basically just the new version of Oregon Trail.
Yeah, I'm all for Rockstar coming out with a new version of Oregon Trail. That'd be cool. I'd play that.
We don't need a high def version of dying of dysentery.
I used to have when I was still on Facebook, my banner was an Oregon Trail thing, but there was a dinosaur and it said you have died of temporal anomaly. It was like a T-Rex attacking the wagon train. Oh, that's the other thing I tried watching. What's that new show? I think it's on NBC. La Brea. Did anybody
La Brea.
try watching La Brea?
Nope.
No.
Sinkhole opens up in L.A. At the La Brea Tar Pits.
Interesting.
People are basically a bunch of people are transported to the land of the lost. Is literally what it is. Imagine if Lost meets Land of the Lost. I want to like the show. I don't know.
Are they trying to be funny?
No.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's it started out like almost like a comedy, the way it was filmed. And then it happens, but then someone in the show literally says, "What? Are we like on the island of Lost?" And it's just like, okay. Yeah, some kid references the Lost TV show, and it was just like,
Okay.
I don't know. There's something about it that just rubs me the wrong way. Maybe it was the fact that the dude left like Edwards Air Force Base and was able to make it downtown LA in like 15 minutes. It was just, yeah, I don't know. It has tonal. I can't figure out the tone of the show. I think that's part of it.
I bet you with a laugh track it'd be good. Come on.
Maybe, but I mean, they are very much trying to make a new Lost. But it takes place both in the people that went into the sinkhole and then the people that were left behind. So there's like two sides of this thing that they go back and forth. And so I guess if you take Lost, Land of the Lost, and Fringe,
Interesting.
I think those are three kind of shows that, because in Fringe, they went back and forth between like a reality thing, right? At one point, I don't know. I'm not sure if I don't know. I don't remember if I finished the first episode, but I think I'm going to try. But it was kind of painful. Oh, did anybody watch, what was that, Under the Dome? Did anybody watch Under the
Yes.
Dome?
I did watch that.
I watched it by proxy.
Okay, so
I
it's
watched it.
got kind of that kind of feel in the way it's written.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of surreal, not really clear on if it's drama or adventure, or it's got that kind of videotape look. Everybody needs to watch the first or watch as much as you can of the first episode of La Brea.
As much as you can.
As much as you can, because like I said, I didn't finish it. At one point, I turned it off.
Like, oh man!
I made the conscious choice to turn it off, but I'm curious. And then next week, or Pathway won't be here.
Nope.
I want to know what you guys think. Just
I'll let you know.
Try watching it. It's on Hulu. It's an NBC show. If you're paying for Peacock, then you should have it also. I think it's NBC. Let's see. Was there a synopsis for La Brea? La Brea TV. It's an American drama television series that premiered on NBC September 28th. Oh, that was a long time ago. I thought it was just this week, like last week. Oh, so it's been out for a while. Huh. I just heard about it a couple weeks ago, too. Yeah, a massive sinkhole opens in the middle of Los Angeles at the site of the La Brea Tar Pits. Hundreds of people and vehicles and buildings
You obviously weren't watching any NBC shows because they were promoting the hell out of it.
Well, I don't watch TV. I watch streaming after the fact. So I don't see commercials. But I'd never even heard anything about it until like a couple weeks ago. And Hulu only seemed to have one episode, I thought. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what everybody else thinks of it. Wabbit, did you watch any of it?
No, I didn't. No, just the promos.
You need to watch the first
woman
episode
in it
too.
from Justified. That was his girlfriend.
Yep. Oh, it's got lots of people that I like recognize. But I just don't know.
I like those weirdo shows, but I decided against it.
And I don't know if it's bad or if it's just like that weird.
It's probably bad.
Well, they just may not have found their voice. I'm not sure what it is. It's just something off about the way it should be. Yeah, the opening part was super confusing because I wasn't sure, is this a drama or is this like I don't know. But okay. Well, anything else before we shut this down? I think we chose the Yamaha-naka.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I'm watching a little clip from Under the Dome apparently, and all the metal objects are being sucked into from the room. It's actually pretty good effects. Practical effects.
Under the Dome was a show that I kind of liked it, but then I hated it. It got to a point where I couldn't watch anymore. It was like maybe the third season.
I don't think I made it to the third season.
I think I made it through the second season, and then they did a thing that just made me say no, and I turned it off and then walked away. It's just like no. I mean, Lost did that, but they kept going back and forth between a good season, absolute dreadful show, second season. Then it was good for a couple seasons. Then it was terrible again. But then, yeah, I don't know. I just want to know. Yeah. I want to know whatever. I respect your guys' opinions. So I want to know what am I missing about this show?
All right. I'll check out La Bamba.
Yeah. Starring what's his face from Longmire, the bartender from Longmire, Lou Diamond Phillips. Yeah, he was in La Bamba, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he was.
Have I ever mentioned how much I like Lou Diamond Phillips? I always like him whenever he shows up and stuff.
Yeah, he was in the Young Guns as well, right? He was
Yep.
good in that, I thought.
Yeah, anytime he shows up in like a TV show, I'm like, rock on. I'm just surprised he hasn't shown up in Yellowstone, because he always shows up in anything that's like Native American. Shows up somehow, or that has a Native American like part of the story. All right. Well, okay. If we don't have anything else, I'm going to shut this down. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Wolf, good to see you back. Dan, I have it on express authority that I think you're supposed to be in bed. And Mike Beam, welcome.
He's got a whole 18 minutes.
Well, I'm going to tell him go to bed.
Oh, man. He was told.
It is 11:12 here. Think you're better. No, thanks everybody. We will catch you all next week.